Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising, everyone. I hope that you guys are having a great start to your week. I hope you had no, I hope you just enjoyed yesterday. Um, hey, Miss Dolores. Hello there. How are you? Hey, Evangelist. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Lolita. Hello there. Hey, Teresa. Hello there. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, Unique. Hello there. How are you? All right, guys. So it's another day, another week, another Diddy. But today we're not talking about Diddy on the YouTube side of things. I will be talking about Diddy um on the Bigo side of things today because we are now kicking up for day 10. Okay. As you guys know, they were out for the holiday. So we're definitely going to be discussing Diddy on the Bigo side. But today, I felt like that we need to discuss something that it seems to be coming across my timeline a lot and in my news media. I'm not sure if you guys are paying attention, but there's a lot of dangers that's going on at the daycares right now. So I felt the need to talk about it. Okay. So please make sure that you do share to someone who cares about what's going on in the world because it's definitely a lot going on in the world. Hey, Mr. Soso. Hello there. How are you? Hello, hello, hello. Um, what are any announcements? Any announcements? Oh, don't forget, we are moving. Thank you, T. We are moving into our last we are moving into our last days for this month's raffle. Don't forget, in order for you guys to be on this month's raffle, all you have to do is just go and download Spaces by Wix and then make a post. And you will be entered into this month's $100 raffle giveaway, okay? And I'm going to pull the name at the beginning of June, okay? Now, I also let you guys know last week, but I will remind you that next month is going to be a little bit sticky for me. I'm going to try to see if I can merge everything to be able to still be able to be on my schedule like I need to be. But I have a lot going on in preparation. For one, we're still in school. We're in summer semester. Two, I am prepping for the Royal cruise that we have going on right now. Well, coming up in July. Okay. So please make sure that you guys stay tuned for any schedule changes or anything that may happen in the month of June. Okay. Alrighty, guys. Hey, Shantae. Hello there. Hello, hello, hello. Alrighty. So I've been kind of watching this whole daycare thing and this whole she's a schoolgirl, y'all. Yes, I'm definitely a schoolgirl. I'm doing good in school though so far. Doing really good. My GPA is really good, and I'm kind of doing a great job at time management too. I'm doing a great, great job with that. And I know that that was one of my biggest concerns. Hey, Deja, was my time management during my school, but during school, but I'm doing okay. So now I'm thinking more about going forward to with this whole doctorates thing. I'm still I'm scared, but hey, Aries, like I was talking to my husband about it over the weekend, and I'm like, I don't really know if I want to do this or not. It's a bit much, but it's getting a little easier. Hey, Jiggy. So after this, guys, on the Bigo side, we will continue on with the whole Diddy coverage. Over here on the YouTube side of things, we're about to get into the dangers of daycare because we have to have this discussion because it's so many children that are either being abused at daycares or it's children that are being killed at daycares, or you have children who are not daycares who I feel as though are not understanding their task when it comes to taking care of other people's children is what we also need to discuss today too. Okay, we're going to cover 3 cases, very recent cases, and I'm talking about within the last 2 weeks. Okay, of some of the most craziest cases out of daycares right now. All right, daycares are not safe at all. They're not. And we can safely say that at this point. I remember when I first had my daughter, and I was like, I don't want my daughter to be in daycare because I don't trust everyone. We're living in a day now where I can say that. And when a person says, you know what? Thank you. When a person says, you know what? I want to go to work, I want to focus on my business, but I have a newborn or I have a baby that cannot talk. And just to, I prefer to stay home with my child. I'm at the point now where I cannot judge people for that. Okay. I cannot judge a person who chooses their child's safety over anything else. You can't trust people like that no more. You just can't. Okay. So the first case is out of this one is out of Lenore, North Carolina. And this is the Creative Beginnings. daycare. Okay. And this is the case here. And the incident happened on May the 20th of this year. The victim is Maddy. Maddy was 16 months old. And the suspect in this case is Alexandra Kofi. She's 29 years old and she was a daycare worker at the time. Okay. So Maddy had went to her first day of daycare and she was then dropped off by her mother at the Creative Beginnings out there in Lenore. Okay. And the mother had described her day as being very much heartbreaking and nerve-wracking. Of course, because this is her child's first day, okay? That's normal, okay? So Creative Beginnings had held a 5-star license at the time from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, despite having documented history of safety violations. Here we go right here. Something already that's at play. We already have it right now as a daycare that is how are you 5-star? Take that in for a second. How are you a 5-star daycare with previous allegations? That doesn't even make any sense. That lets us know that you guys are handing out ratings like it's hotcakes at a IHOP. That's what it's seeming like to me. Because there's no way that someone should have a 5-star rating with previous allegations, especially if it's pertaining to any form of abuse or neglect of a child. Okay. They had multiple CPR and first aid deficiencies. Now, after being laid down for a nap, Maddy reportedly had never woke up. Emergency medical services were then dispatched to the Creative Beginnings and attempted to resuscitate her. So they tried to do it at the scene and then also at the hospital, but she was then pronounced deceased shortly after arriving at the hospital. So following the preliminary autopsy, the Lenore Police Department, they had then began to reclassify her case as a criminal investigation. So they did cite that there was some suspicious circumstances around Maddy's death, and within 48 hours, 29-year-old daycare worker Alexandria Kofi was then arrested and charged with involuntary manslaughter. So when it comes to the timeline, the morning of May the 20th, Maddy was dropped off at daycare. So in the afternoon, her mother had received a call saying that her daughter was not waking up. So EMS had then responded, and then the evening, Maddy was then pronounced deceased. So on May the 21st, the autopsy was then performed, and the results did prompt a criminal reclassification. So on May the 22nd of 2025, Miss Kofi, she was then arrested and charged, and she was held on a $500,000 bond. So the medical examiner reportedly had ruled out natural causes and also prompted a criminal inquiry into her death. So the facility's records also showed that there was a non-compliance in life-saving measures, and they did not follow through with any of the life-saving standards that is required of a daycare facility. Okay, so the Creative Beginnings license has now been suspended as they do pose a safety threat. So Kofi is scheduled to appear for her preliminary hearing, and prosecutors have not disclosed as of yet any specific details of the cause of death. They did cite an ongoing investigation. Okay, they did cite an ongoing investigation, but it's not expected into the further days until after everything has come out. They're going to let us know exactly how this all happened. They do expect that it could be some negligence here in the supervision, as well as improper handling during nap time. That will also be a part of this case. Now, when it comes to the failures in this, the failures in this is very much transparent. We can see it for sure. We all know that when you are a part of a daycare, you must have some form of life-saving training. So for them to be handing out 5-star ratings to a daycare facility that does not follow through with life-saving measures, something that is so important, that lets us know that there is some form of, there was no accountability that is happening here. Let's just start there. Because if you guys did have accountability out there in North Carolina, we would not be saying that this daycare center is not following through, but yet they are a 5-star. So that lets us know, as the people watching, that you guys are not following through with who are supposed to have what certifications, when those certifications expire, what employees are following through, what leaders are following through, and what leaders aren't following through. And when I say aren't following through, I mean they're not following through to ensure that their employees are having and receiving the training that they need. So, for those of you who do not know, in many states, it is required that when you work in a daycare, you must have life saving training like CPR. Okay. You must have specific types of trainings in order for them to be hired at a facility. So, either one or two things happened here. Hey, Sharice, either one or two things happened here. Either you guys at the daycare center are not properly following protocol, or two, you guys are not caring about the protocol and you're hiring anybody that would take the job, which for those parents that do not know, that happens a lot in daycares. Hey, Nunya. No, you didn't. Hey, how you doing, love? CPR is paramount. And for y'all to minimize CPR and life-saving measures when you're dealing with children is insane. When we know that children have all sorts of freak accidents, them swallowing things, them falling, all types of things, breathing issues, respiratory issues, and you guys are not finding it a priority to take on the trainings, and then the leaders there are not finding it a priority either. So that's one thing. Then also there was no mandatory reporting to the parents about the past infraction. Meaning, parents, I'm gonna need you guys to be researching before you go dropping your kids off. Meaning, I'm gonna need you to be asking questions of what type of allegations. Have you ever had any allegations from here? Has there ever been any news articles pertaining to incidents from your daycare? Those are the type of questions that you guys have to ask in 2025. Do you guys have cameras installed? And you're going to understand why I'm asking that question later. Do you guys have cameras installed that I can log in and look at whenever I get ready? What is the required certifications of your employees that work here? The person that will be the primary responsible person for my child, what is their background when dealing with children? What is their past like? How many employees do you have here? When was the last time that you guys have ran background checks? Was there any complaints from any employees that work here? These are the type of questions that you guys have to ask. Don't just go to a daycare center looking for the lowest rate. Go to the daycare center looking for a daycare center that you know for a fact is going to be taking care of your children and all their ducks are quacking and they're all in a row, straight. There should be no holes. There should be no way that a child will be at risk at any point. That's how you have to go out looking for your daycares today. Why wouldn't a parent ask these questions? Some parents don't. Some parents go by the ratings, and this is sad but true. There are some parents that when they shop around for daycares, it's which daycare is the lowest daycare. Some parents, they really don't have a choice because, i.e., let's say their daycare is being paid for by the state, and there's only a small pool of these daycares that take state funding. So, in order for them to safeguard themselves, they have to ask these type of questions. Don't just go to them because the state will pay for it through this particular daycare center. Still safeguard yourself with these questions. Basically like a liability type of thing to where there could be no hiccups. They look for the cheapest a lot of time, right, Miss Dolores? Right. And then you also have this whole star rating situation. Hey, Kawania, that's impossible. Star ratings with bad backgrounds is insane to me. It makes you wonder. Hey, Lot Goddess. Childcare networks have fallen off. Yes, they have. Made in a major, major way. Major way. So this baby has lost her life. Her mother probably built up the courage for this first day of daycare, just for the first day to turn into a day that she will forever remember, and trust lost in the system. and the biggest fear came true. Because this is something that is nerve-wracking for parents, especially new mothers, that they gotta build up the courage to go back to work. "I gotta go back, but I don't wanna drop." It takes a lot. It takes so much for women to I know because I remember hey, November, I remember when I had my baby, and it was nerve-wracking in itself for me to be able to even drop her off. And even after dropping her off, I found myself throughout the day, you know, wanting to check on her and she's just on my mind because it's like, I just hope that everything is okay. So I know that that is nerve-wracking. And then for you to receive this call is crazy. Hey, Mimi. Now, in case two, this case is insane too. Okay. So this out there in Park Hills, Missouri, and this happened at the Poppy's Playhouse. Now, this one is going to make y'all a little upset, and I'm gonna warn you now because this one is a little insane. Because the fact that the person who was head of this daycare has a leading position in the city. Hey, brother, who should have known how to safeguard her own daycare. Okay, so this happened on May the 16th. The victim was Conrad Ashcraft. Is his name. Okay, he was 3. He was nonverbal, and he had autism. So the daycare worker, Tiffany Richardson Hendrick. Okay, and you also had Spring Gray, who was then a councilwoman as well, who they are saying played a role in this too. Well, not no, this is the wrong thing. I'm sorry. Wrong story, wrong story. And then you have Tiffany Richardson. She was a daycare worker. That was the third story I was moving into. Sorry, y'all, I was moving too quick. So Conrad was nonverbal. He was autistic and he was 3 years old. And he was placed at the Poppy's Playhouse, which was a licensed childcare center that was owned by um, someone that was closely connected to the community. Okay. Now, on May the 16th of 2025, he had died at a facility under what the family members later have described as a horrific, callous, as well as negligent and senseless circumstance. So the daycare, they were already known. Once again, this is our second daycare in a row that were known to have a background. Okay. They were known to have very poor conditions at this facility. There was multiple violations already listed there. Okay. And now they are claiming that this child was possibly suffocated by this woman using their legs on his chest to hold him down during nap time. Now, the Park Hills Police Department had initially responded, but they had quickly referred the case to another county, okay, to investigate it. So they began to send it to this other county because there was a conflict of interest already happening in the current county. So the daycare was owned by a sitting council member, okay? The woman that owned this was a council member, city council member. Now, with you being someone that is on the city council, ma'am, you know what the regulations are. You know what the policies are. You know what the expectations are. Okay? You know what there's no reason that we should have these type of circumstances coming from an owner that is a city council member. So, when it comes to the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, also known as DESE, they had launched a parallel investigation, and the facility's license was then suspended immediately on May the 20th. So an autopsy was then ordered by the county coroner's office. Although the results do remain to be pending, the criminal negligence is being actively investigated. I'm sorry. And both state and civil cases are currently still developing. So when it comes down to the timeline, On May the 16th of 2025, Conrad was placed in a daycare and he then died at nap time. Okay, so he was dropped off at daycare that day and then he died during the nap time. On May the 17th through the 18th, the family had notified the daycare, they had notified, were notified of the death, and autopsy was then ordered. Okay. So on May the 20th, the DESE had then suspended the license. And then on May the 21st, the Spring Gray had then resigned from the city council. Okay. And then you have on May the 22nd, the lawsuit also filed, had also said that there could have been some form of suffocation that happened in this case here. Okay. Now, when it comes to the wrongful death suit, it is also said, and it has been revealed, that the staff had possibly put their legs on his chest and they held him down to basically stop him from moving in order to force him to go to sleep. It is also said that the allegations include the staff had left him unattended after the incident for hours, and then they contacted his mother. And then that's when his death was then finalized the following day. When it comes to the facility, it is currently closed due to threat of public safety. And the legal discovery is currently happening, and the mother she is now in the midst of a civil lawsuit right now due to this. Now, when it comes to the restraint tactics, this is a restraint tactic that many daycare workers know is not to be done. The fact that we have to even lay that down like that is crazy. The fact that we have to let you guys know of certain moves that you should not be doing, as if you should know that you shouldn't be taking your legs and I know what you did. You took your legs and you squeezed him in between your legs by his chest. That's exactly what you did in an effort to hold him down. It doesn't take rocket science for you to know that you shouldn't be doing that. It doesn't take a medical professional to know that you shouldn't be doing that. It doesn't take you to be someone with common sense knows that you shouldn't be doing this to a child of this age or this size at any point whatsoever. Not to mention he's autistic. If you cannot, and I say this, I'm going to say this over and over again, like I've always said, if you cannot handle autistic children, please move. If you cannot, if you don't understand how they operate and how they, how they are and what triggers them and how to calm them down, please move. There's many people in the world that will take your position and work it well. If you don't understand them, please relocate, find you a new profession, and get out of the field. There is no need for you to be there because there's a lot of people that are in the field of daycare, preschool, schools, education that are working with autistic children but don't understand how they operate. Get out of the field if you don't understand that children with autism, sometimes they will be overly active. Sometimes they will make noises for no reason. Sometimes when you want them to go to sleep, they're not going to go to sleep, especially if you don't have them on a schedule. Sometimes they will be aggressive. Sometimes they will have outbursts. Sometimes they will get physical. And if you don't understand that, then I need you to get out of the field and allow professionals that understand that to work with them. You need patience. You need understanding and clear communication because that's what you're going to have to even communicate with them. Sometimes you're going to have to repeat yourself. Sometimes you're going to have to repeat yourself 2, 3, 4,000 times for them to process what you're saying. If you don't understand that, that doesn't mean that they're ignoring you. I'm going to need you to move, get out of the field. If you don't understand that sometime when you want them to sit down, they can't sit down, I'm going to need you to get out the field. If you don't understand that when you tell them it's quiet time, they don't understand that it's quiet time. Their minds don't let them process that. I'm going to need you to get out the field. Just move because you got to have patience and give them time for quiet time. Give them time to process that. Give them time to process nap time. Give them time to process that it's outdoor time. You have to give them time to process that. And if you don't have patience, please get out of the field. What we are seeing in daycare, education, we are seeing people that are getting into the field not understanding the ramifications that it include. They don't understand the qualities that are required to work in the field. It's one thing to love kids, it's another thing to love kids to have patience for them. That's a whole nother different ball game. Okay? Whole nother different ball game. Now, they did lack mental health and special needs accommodations. How? How are you a daycare facility and you lack special needs qualifications while you are running a daycare with special needs children with autism? There we go, right there. There are people that are hiring people that doesn't even have the qualifications, the experience. And here we are, a child losing their life because you guys are hiring anybody. Anybody that you feel will be somebody to help is who you're hiring. Then you have a city worker who understands that there are qualifications to run a daycare and still don't follow through with those qualifications is crazy to me. No more they're not even vetting their employees. They're not even asking questions. They're not even making sure that point A matches point Z. They're just hiring anybody for your children. Anybody. Anybody that they feel a need that can fill a spot, fill a gap is what they're doing and taking your money to do it. Hey, Thaz, how are you? They also failed to check on him during his nap. So he could have already been going through things prior to him passing away. But because they never checked in on him, here we are. And I don't understand that anyway, because I'm a mother of a 15 going on 16-year-old, and for some reason, I'm still checking her at night. And I've been doing this since she was an infant. For some reason, if I just did it on Saturday. My daughter slept to 11. It's very abnormal for her to do that. And if I didn't walk in her room and stand over top of her, I tell you that I didn't do it, I would be lying because I just did it just this Saturday. Because she don't really do that. She doesn't sleep until 11. So if you don't think that I took my hand and waved over and looked at her stomach, you're crazy. So I'm trying to understand, how is there adults that are working with children that don't have that instinct? Because I still have it 16, going on 16 years later. So how are y'all having children that are infancy stages, autistic, babies, and y'all just don't check on them at all while they sleep? Absolutely not. I still do that, and we're going on to a 16-year-old, okay? Then you also had the city oversight, which was also compromised by political entanglements in this situation. Because guess what? Tiffany has not been arrested as of yet. Now, the next case is this happened out there in Brownsburg, Indiana. Main Street University for Kids. The suspect is Gabriel E. Gardner. He's 22 years old, known as Mr. Gabe. The number of victims in this case is at least 8 people so far. They're still counting. There's more to be expected. He has now been charged with 43 felonies, including child M, exploitation, as well as possession of child M videos. Gabriel Gardner was employed at this daycare since 2021, and he was also known to the students as Mr. Gabe. So, despite the multitudes of red flags that was raised by the parents and the staff, the daycare had allegedly failed to report it to child services. This prolonged inaction had allowed the abuse to continue for over 2 years. The facility is owned and operated by Nancy Milton with an administrative oversight from Jennifer Lingbeck. Both have come under a widespread scrutiny for what they say. They basically told the parents to, shh, don't tell nobody. And when the one teacher that was bringing it forth to them, shh, don't tell nobody. Keep this between us. When there was parents coming to them, shh, don't tell nobody. Gabriel Gardner was employed at this daycare. The facility, the formal investigation only began in April of this year. Thank you. Thank you, lady. So after a staff member had overrode the internal silence and also filed a report with the Indiana State Child Services. So a search of Gardner's phone had revealed over 130 plus geotagged SA abuse images of children that were in the daycare. He has been charged with 30 counts of child exploitation, 11 counts of child M, 1 count of vicarious SA gratification, and 1 count of possession of videos. Further charges are also expected as more victims are coming out. Right now, we're at 8 confirmed victims. Now, when it comes down to the timeline of events, Gardner had begun the employment in February of 2021. In November of 2024, the parents had raised abuse concerns, and the daycare investigates internally. April of 2025, the teacher reported Gardner to DCS. May of 2025, Gardner was then arrested and charged with 43 felonies. In May the 8th, the law firm Connell Michael also announced a civil suit against the facility as of right now. There was also some phone data that did reveal these geotagged pictures and videos from within the facility. Hey, Sally. The staff also admitted to failing to report multiple warnings to the authorities. Garner reportedly, he did confess to certain allegations, and reports also indicate that he laughed during interviews and showed no remorse whatsoever. He's currently still in custody and awaiting trial. Prosecutors do expect to add further charges upon him as more victims do come forward. Meanwhile, multiple families have retained attorneys right now in preparation for the civil suit that is against the daycare, the staff, and its ownership. Now, thank you, Steph. Here's the thing. In all 3 of these situations, there's one thing that there's one thing that we know for a fact is true. And these are from 3 different states. I want y'all to pay attention to got to think in your mind about how far this statistic can go. This is why we're doing the dangers of daycare. If we just now did 3 daycares in 3 different states and all of them had past fractions and past things of allegations and past reports, and all 3 of these cases had that, how many other daycares do you think across America has the same exact thing? This is 3 different states. But they all had the same outcome. Previous reports, previous allegations, previous neglect, previous policies being broken, previous lack of certifications, all of them had it. So when you think about and you're going to go shop around for your children for daycares, I want you to keep this in your brain. Ask yourself when you go talk to these people, have you ever had allegations from out of here? Have your daycare ever been in the media before? When was the last time that you guys did your certifications for CPR? What is your background check policies? How do you guys handle the report of allegations from a teacher? How do you guys handle reports from student? How do you guys follow through with abuse allegations? Who are your overseers? Overseers, the leadership, overseers, the people that do the accountability checks of who have CPR, the accountability checks on allegations, the accountability checks on who has allegations of abuse or or accountability of background checks. Those are the type of things that I need you guys to ask. Now, when it comes to case 3, guess what they did have? They did have cameras. But guess what those cameras had? Many blind spots. Many blind spots. The suspect in case 3 that we're looking at here, Gabriel, he actually went to a teacher about a student because the student either said something about his feet or something, or looked at his feet or something, and he went to a teacher and said, now keep in mind, when we talking student, we talking daycare. He went to a teacher and he said, does she got a feet fetish? 4-year-old, by the way. And nothing in this teacher's brain told her, I need to report that because that just don't sound right. Why is a man even asking me that about a 4-year-old? That doesn't sound right. So when you guys are going to go and check in on these places for your children and you checking about the cameras, how many cameras do you have and do they cover all areas of this daycare center? Are there any blind spots for your cameras? Yes, you need to ask those type of questions. And if they don't want to give you proper answers, leave. If any of those questions that I just now told you don't get answered, leave. Because your child is your child, and you have the right to protect your child by all means. You have the right to ask any questions that you need to ensure that your child is safe. Daycares have the same pass the trash as teachers, police officers, priests, and pastors. I've explained this before over and over again. Okay. Passing of the trash is something that is known. Basically, if somebody get in trouble at one daycare, they'll pass the trash to another daycare, and because the previous daycare doesn't report it. The previous daycare does not put it in this new daycare system that this person has had allegations of so and so. So they're able to freely go to another daycare and do the same exact thing again. And because there is no database for daycare workers, i.e., a database of accountability, a database that is overseeing allegations. Anybody can be a nanny, anybody can be a daycare worker. Okay? I'm gonna let you, matter of fact, let me let you guys know how easy it is to be a daycare worker. I have a 15-year-old. she's certified to be a daycare worker in my state. So if my 15-year-old, who possibly will take care of a baby than many adults, how many adults you think is certified to be a daycare worker, but they should not be there whatsoever? Whether it be how they treat children, whether it be their background, whether it be their connections, whether it be what they're into. How many people do y'all really think, yeah, they got the certification, but they daggone show shouldn't be there? Hey, OG, many. My 15-year-old can walk in somebody's daycare right now and be a daycare worker for the summer. She has CPR classes and she also took daycare classes. And that only took her 2 weeks. And if the daycare is not doing proper oversight, and if the daycare is not doing proper following protocol, they're not going to ensure that the background checks is done. They're not going to ensure that this person doesn't have previous charges. They're not going to ensure these types of things. They're not. Because what they want to do, guys, they need employees. They need people to watch these kids. Okay? So, I felt the need to talk about this today because I've been seeing daycare, death at daycare, teacher arrested, daycare teacher arrested. I've been seeing this over and over. So I had to have this conversation about the dangers of daycare because I don't want you guys to get too focused on what's going on and forget that there's other things going on. Okay. Thank you guys for the gifts over here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is sad very much. I will keep you guys updated on anything else that comes out with any of these cases. Okay. Um, I will be going over the lawsuit for um this case here. I will be going over those documents as well, okay? So that we can really get an understanding of the background of this and how this was even able to go on and occur. So we will be doing a part 2 to this case specifically, okay? Alrighty, guys, and I'll see you guys. It's more research needed to get an apartment. Yeah, it's more research needed to get an apartment. It is. It is. Like yeah. But the your kids though are being handed to who knows what. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's been preying on children for 2 years. While the leaderships are saying, be quiet. Shh, don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. Yeah, yeah, the lady snatched the baby and was yelling and cursing like a lunatic, and I was so scared. And so scared on the news. Yeah, like yeah, it's a lot of that going on right now, y'all. Okay. Alrighty, everyone. You guys have a great day on the YouTube side of things. Now, YouTubers that wants to watch me on the Bigo side of things, okay? I'm gonna about to do Diddy. Did he did it? Did he done it? Did he do it? Did he done? Did it? Did he today? Okay, that's what we're about to do. Diddy, we're on day 10 of the Diddy trial. All right. And I'm going to be getting you guys acquainted what's going on with the Diddy trial, as well as going over some research surface clips of the craziness that Diddy done did. You guys have a great day. And thank you for watching and thank you for tuning in to